We are go for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Hit the record button.
Hello. This is Italo from Italo's Black Talk Radio, and I'm just going to share this interview that I had with Leah and Al about their show, Cirque Du Giselle. For those that don't know, Giselle is a big deal. So listen up, guys. This is the interview that I had with them. Today I have the producer and the director of the new show coming from the studio. It's called Aerial. Sorry, Leah, can you say the name? Aerial?
Yeah. Aeriform art.
Aero? Yeah. I have a problem with that. Sorry. You have to say it again later. But I'm sure you guys could say it better than I can. Even though I'm the host, I don't have. Anyways, how you guys doing today, this morning?
Good. How are you?
Very good.
I'm great. I'm very excited because you guys put up the best shows. Well, I've only seen one.
That's all right. You're still the best.
But I must say, so we're gonna talk about Giselle this morning.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, like me, I had to do a little research yesterday.
Yeah.
And basically, I learned about Giselle, and I never knew Giselle was a big deal, and it turns out she is a big deal. For those that are into ballet and classical music, I don't know about the story much. I have a general idea because I was on YouTube last night, and these dancers couldn't really explain it very well. So maybe you can.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Giselle, like you said, it is a classical ballet. It's actually one of the 2 or 3 most performed ballets. And it is about a peasant girl, a sickly peasant girl named Giselle, who falls in love with another peasant boy and ends up dying of a broken heart after she discovers her peasant lover is actually a duke that's betrothed to a princess. And that's just all in the first act. So there's...
Right. Yeah, it's a classic love story.
Yeah, the second act goes into ghosts and death and all of the things that come with that. So there is a third party. There is a boy next door that's also in love with her. She dies because of a broken heart, and she dances herself to death. It's a really interesting piece. There's a lot of twists and turns. But in the end, it is a piece, even though there's some death going on, that shows that love eventually triumphs over vengeance. So yeah, that's Giselle.
That's the basic gist of it.
So, allelon, I want to ask you, since you're the director, how was it directing this time around? Because last year, people don't know, maybe whoever's listening, Leah and allelon, they produced last year's Dorothy and Alice, which is, to me, was serendipity because I was doing my own show about the Wizard of Oz. So we clicked right away.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
You said that was so cool. That's how we met. So that was fun.
I know. I was like, oh my God, we got to cross promote. Come on. So we started right away. Cross promoting and supported each other's show, and I went to see it, and I love it because it's aerials. For those people that still don't know, this is actually an aerial company. They basically have aerials, and they have them on sometimes stilts, and sometimes they're just floating around the stage. But this time around, it's a bigger stage, correct?
Yeah, we're going to be performing it. Well, last year we did it at our space, at our studio. This year we decided that it would be This is a larger production in a sense, and I think I really started pushing Leia and Colleen to think about putting it into a real theater. And luckily, we had already spoken to the Assistance League people last year, so we were familiar with them, and I know that they participate with the Fringe Festival. So we went over there, and it just when we did another tour of their stage, we just realized that it was a much better spot. Plus, it's got 300 seats. It's a legit theater, and it's right around the corner from us. It's literally 3 blocks away from our studio, so it's convenient, and it just feels better in a real theater space. We initially were going to try to do it in the studio again this year, and it just we would have, with everything that was going on, we would have only been able to pack in maybe 20 or 30 people at the most. And I really felt like it should have been, we needed at least an opportunity to have a larger audience for this.
One of the things that we, Colleen and I talked about, what we wanted to do for this year right now, was we wanted to be able to tell a story, but not necessarily have to tell it verbally. And in doing that, we felt that we needed to do something a little larger and something that was had more space, really, had more people, had more actors, had more dancers. So this time around, our cast was pretty big last time, but this time around, our cast is I can't even keep track of it anymore, but it's 16 or 17 people.
Yeah, it's a big cast this time around.
And this time around, I know, right? Think about all those schedules and rehearsals.
Lovely.
But this time around, we're also doing a lot of ground floor stuff. So we really felt that we needed to give the performers the space to perform. And another thing is one of the things that the only 2 real notes that we got on our performance last time is we wanted it to be longer. And we loved the aerial stuff. So we wanted the opportunity to have more space, to have more people, so it's not people sitting on the floor in standing room only, and to go a little longer and spend some time sussing that out. And so the Assistance League theater worked out really well.
Yeah. This year's show is going to be more like an hour.
Yeah, it's going to be more like an hour and 10. But there, the 10, it's going to be 55-minute show, 15-minute intermission, because it is a 2-act piece, and there is huge costume change.
We have to change the apparatus. We are going to mission there.
But the Assistance League has alcohol, so you guys can get lovely drinks in the middle.
Yes, you can buy a drink at intermission.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll tell you off the air, but anyways, I'll tell you something off the air. Well, I'll tell you right now. Why not? I was at the office hours last Wednesday, and I decided this year I'm going to go without alcohol and see how it goes. And so it turns out I'm more eloquent sounding when I'm not drunk.
Less sloppy.
Yeah. Trust me.
I get sloppy when I'm drunk. It's part of the
Not only do I sound better and more eloquent, but I don't make a fool of myself. How's that? But once in a while, it's maybe at the end of the because by the end of June, trust me, I'll need a drink.
Yeah, right, absolutely. We all will.
As you know. Yeah, but no, actually, I wanted to let people know that last year's show, even though it was a smaller scale, I had the best seats in the house actually last year, and that's why I love to be there on time, because you want to really be up close for this one, and it's very visual, it's very, and I hear it's going to be less dialogue, more music, correct?
Be no dialogue. All music and dance and aerial. Yeah.
All right. classical, which I love. Ever since because I went to see your show last year, and then I was like, wait, what did I hear? Because it was Alice in Wonderland theme and Dorothy as well, or Wizard of Oz. So, but the music was so good. Oh my goodness! I was like, Leah, you got to tell me where you got this music. And so she did, and I've been listening to it since last year. I've been listening to this, on my playlist, and every time it comes on, I can still remember the performance. If you
That's great.
So it's really great. But I'm sure this year will be different because it's going to be more classical, correct? More classical music.
This year we are going with the classical version of Giselle, the scoring for it. There's, many different orchestras that do it, but for all intents and purposes, the score or the pieces are the same. So while we are not doing the classic Giselle ballet, we did want to stick with the music to kind of tie in that theme. Giselle normally is a straight ballet. We're doing a Cirque version of Giselle.
Yeah.
So while there will be some moments of ballet, there's going to be moments of trapeze and of harness and of bungee and of hammock and of, you might see some stilts or some weird dance bags in there as well.
Yeah, there could be some contortion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we wanted to keep the story theme of Giselle within our take on it, our personality. And one of the things that we thought that would help with that is to use the classical music.
Yeah.
So that's kind of new for us. Music is really important. I worked really hard on the songs for the last time, and I think when I first said, hey guys, this is the music I want to use, a lot of people kind of looked at me and they were like, really? That's odd. They're odd choices. But I like the odd choice. I don't think everything has to be what you think it's going to be. I think sometimes the fun is like, oh, wow, wasn't expecting that. And so that's what we're kind of trying to do with Giselle, but in the circus version.
Yeah, I mean, it's all, I've watched a few different versions of it at this point. I mean, it's a classic ballet. And when I first started, thinking about this, when Colleen first brought this idea to us, it got me very excited because I'm like, well, hey, this is an amazing classic ballet, but we're trying to make a circus, like a Cirque version of it. We're literally putting Giselle in the air.
Right.
So we're very exciting. The prospect.
How was it directing ballet? How was it directing a ballet? I mean, ballet / Cirque, because that's different, right?
Yeah, it's different, and I am certainly not a ballet dancer. But what we've done is that we have a lot of, this speaks to how many talented folks we have at the studio, actually. I made it clear to Colleen.
Colleen is our aerial choreographer. Colleen directed the play last year and choreographed it. This year, this is a much larger undertaking. So we have an aerial choreographer who is Colleen, and she works at our studio. And then we have a ground dance choreographer, and that is
Dani Maloney is doing all the groundwork, and she works with she's an amazing dancer. So I guess back to my original point is that, yes, I'm directing this, but I'm really relying a lot. I told them, I was like, there's a lot of choreography here, and I'm going to be relying on both you guys to come up with it, and I'm going to tweak it. Leia and I are both going to tweak it as we go along, but we're going to be really, relying on you guys to come up with the choreography. And as the rehearsals have progressed, not only are they putting in their creative, not only do they have their creative input, but also it's like a lot of the students and a lot of the instructors have become involved, and their input has become part of it, and their expertise. So this is it's a culmination of a lot of amazing artists that we have there at the studio. And that feels really good. It feels like Like I can I can trust that. You know, I can trust that they're going to come up with something.
I was just writing down a director trust, and it's funny that you just said that because I'm like, I was about to say that because, you know, that happened to me, and, you know, you guys know that, well, not only did I do the Oz monologues, but I went to St. Petersburg, not Florida, but Russia.
Right.
And I was picked to direct this show, right? And it was, not only was it 7,100 seats, not only was it ballet, not only was it aerials, not only was it actors, not only was it the band, and I was like, you want me to do what? I'm like, oh my goodness, like I'm so out of my element, right? But at this, like you say, allelon says it very well. It's like I had to trust them.
Yeah.
And it's so true. If I didn't trust, you know, the cast and,
It was just, you know, there's a lot going on in this, and so when we were assembling the main players, it's like I knew that a lot of that work was going to rest upon their shoulders. And a lot of times when I've seen, you know, when I've been at the rehearsals, you know, it's interesting to watch them and come up with their ideas. You know, I feel bad when I have to poo-poo some of their ideas because it looks horrible. But you know, that's part of the process, and actually that's the creative. I think that's a really fun creative process. You know, it's like you see these people work through their creative ideas, and then you kind of work with them and tweak it and try to make it look better. You know, and I really enjoy this. I enjoy this this kind of working environment. You know.
Yeah. And you know, what's great is we do have a lot of our performers are instructors of ours or students of ours, and a lot of them, especially the instructors, you know, the students may have full-time jobs, but they're totally committed to this. The instructors, they instruct, but half of them, if not all of them, actually, are performers as well. And so, you know, we had so much fun, and last year's Fringe, which was our first, turned out so well, that this year when we were setting up Fringe, we kind of didn't talk to all of the instructors, and there were a couple instructors who came up to us, like one of our amazing instructors who teaches our intermediate classes, apparently had wanted to do the piece, but we had just assumed she was too busy.
Yeah, like most of our instructors, we assume are booked or too busy to do this.
So we didn't mention it to her or two other instructors, and then some of our performers were like, hey, why didn't you ask so-and-so to do it? We were like, well, she's busy. And they're like, no, she wants to do it. So it was a really nice feeling that, you know, from what we did last time, which we loved and thought was great, it's building, and it's building in our studio. The people want to be part of that. And to Al's note about how this is a much larger undertaking, and this time we have two choreographers, and Dani, who is actually an instructor at our studio as well, as a company dancer at Diavolo here in LA, is doing the floor stuff. So she's amazing. She makes everything look ridiculously easy.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, that'll be easy. And then you go to do it, and it's like, oh, it's easy because she's really good.
Right. That's what makes it easy.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not actually easy for us. It's easy for her, but she makes it look so flawless. So it's been a fun process.
Right. No, and actually, and I was just writing this down, and I'm like, I want to forget it. Dance is also a language, right? Just like music is a different language. So what I was thinking is that dance is a language that is foreign to me, for instance, or for allelon is probably foreign, but just like Russian was to me, I caught on to it right away. I'm like, oh, dobre utro. I know what that means. I know what this means. I know what niet means. And so you kind of instinctively get. You actually, I understood so much, and I didn't understand why maybe I was paying attention, but they were like, oh, they were trying to translate, and I'm like, you don't have to translate. I already know what they're saying. And she's like, how do you know? I'm like, I don't know. And I'm sure that's happening to you. You're sharpening your senses. You're probably picking up on, the dance, the movements, and I don't know. Let me know if that's happened to you, but it happened to me in Russia, which is really strange.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is, the dance is its own sort of language, and you pick up on it. I mean, I come from, I have a lot of, earlier in my youth, I did a lot of training. I went to performing arts high school and I did a lot of theater and stuff like that. And I've always been an actor, but I was, and as part of that training, you have to take a certain amount of dance. I'll be honest with you. When I was younger, I didn't pay attention. It was just a requirement at my school. I had no, intentions of ever becoming a great modern dancer. But even then, it's like, you realize that there is a language to that, there's like a physical language there, and you pick up on it after a while. And I find that working at aeriform and watching all these amazing performers over the years that I've been there, 8 years now?
I mean, yeah.
I've definitely sharpened some of those language skills by just being around them and watching them, seeing them all work.
Right. Amazing. And just to let the listeners know, this is going to be only one weekend, so you have got to, as soon as the tickets go on sale, please grab your tickets because I'm sure there will be a lot of, especially Friday. It's going to be at 9 p.m. June 21st at 9, June 22nd at 6, and June 23rd at 8. Tickets go on sale May 1st. So please go to hollywoodfringe.org unless you have a different place to or website to go to. I don't know if you do.
Yeah, you know what? We will be selling tickets on our website as well, starting probably May 1st, and that will be www.aeriformarts.com, and that's aeriformarts.com. aeriform.com. See, I said that. Okay. And I have an accent. Okay, whatever. But you know what? We're talking about is this a Russian ballet, by the way? I meant to ask. Giselle, was it originally from Russia, or was it where did it come from? I mean,
originally?
I think. Well, I mean, so the actual ballet begins in a German town.
Oh,
so if you're watching the classical ballet, it usually takes place in a German town. But so are you asking?
Sorry, I caught you off guard with that one.
No. But I mean, that's the whole thing. People are always like, "Oh, is it French? Is it German? Is it Russian?" Like, yes, Russian, but it's German town. So.
Okay. European. Let's put it that way.
Well.
No. Okay. No, that I'm just curious because I don't know if I heard about Giselle. But as everything, there has to be, a place and time, I guess.
I think that if you once you hear the music, you'll actually be surprised that you have heard this before. I think actually that was one of the reasons why we decided to keep the music, because while you may not actually know. Oh, go ahead.
No. Sorry, I was playing the music, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say that was one of the reasons why we decided to keep the music, because while you don't actually, how to say it? While you may not actually have seen Giselle or know the the story of Giselle, I think that in some way you've heard this music because it is very typically like music, like ballet music that you have heard. You know what I mean? Like, I think one of the reasons we wanted to keep that music is because that is something that people have. It's, you know, it's like there are songs in there that are like canon in D. I mean, it's not a canon in D, but like everyone's heard.
You've heard these songs.
Everyone's heard that song. You know what I mean? If you've heard any classical you've heard, there's very specific songs that you've heard, and I think that that's one of the reasons why we wanted to keep the music, because it will kind of bring that thread through and make it a little bit more familiar for people, which is also one of the reasons why we really like Dorothy and Alice, because although it was not a story that most people have ever heard, everyone, for the most part, can, you know, have some sort of connection with Dorothy, and everyone can have some sort of connection with Alice. Same with your show that you did last year. Like, while it was an original piece, we all, or for the most part, most people know those characters. So.
Right. No, I'm picking the music because right now, to this year, we're going to be doing the Journey of the Little Prince. And for those that, some people, believe it or not, they still don't know the story. So, and that's fine. Just like I didn't know about Giselle. That the music that we chose is by, the name of the group is Robot Koch. And when I was like, Robot who? So anyways, I listened to it and I'm like, oh. And then so it transports you to a different techno, intergalactic kind of setting. And so that the music kind of inspires the piece. The piece inspires the performance somehow. And so we're trying to do that, try to let the music inspire us instead of the other way around, you know, picking the right music. But yeah, the music is just amazing. I was listening to it last night and I was, you know, trying to get to sleep, but then I was caught on to the ballet that moves, and I was, you know, watching it on YouTube, and I'm like, oh, this is okay. I'd like to see it. But you know, you meant to see everything, but then you can't, especially at the Hollywood Fringe, you can't really see everything. So, but I really, trust me, guys. If you miss this show is one of the, you know, you don't see this kind of stuff at the Fringe Festival. Let me put it that way.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
We tried.
Well, you don't. Yeah, you don't. I mean, you have burlesque, and you have, you know, of course you have musicals and stuff, but aerials, you don't have that much. Although you do. I'm sorry, Kat. She's going to kill me. What do you mean you don't see?
But, you know,
hi, Kat.
Kat, it's like Kat, I mean, we love Kat. But, you know, Kat has a great routine, you know, but it seems like she's also, you know, she's got it's like a one-woman show that she incorporates Lyra into. It's good, you know. I
mean, that's smart.
It's smart because it's a lot of work. You couldn't be up there in the Lyra for an hour. You know, you'd die. So, but with this, there's, I mean, this is like I don't want to be so bold, but it's like almost like a mini Cirque du Soleil show.
I mean, it's a lot of work. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little afraid.
Yeah, it's a little scary, but I mean, that's probably normal.
Oh, come on, Leah. Sorry, I was laughing because Leah's always like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm like, Leah.
I know.
You're always doing that.
It's a lot, and we're really looking forward to it, but it's a lot of fun. Like, you know, you're asking about, is it Russian? Well, technically, the first playing of it was in France, but then most of it happened in Russia afterwards. I think that's why there's that. But, I mean, it's like if you look at all, and if you go to just Google and look at some of the different versions, there are so many different versions of it. A lot of it is classical, but then there's like funky 60s, trippy version. There's a version out right now that I'm dying to see, but it's only an English version that's coming to the U.S. for only a little bit of time. Like, there's a lot going on in just the ballet version, and now we're trying to incorporate, aerial and circus arts into it. And is that a good idea? We think so. But we're taking something that's very, here it is. We know what it is. And we're changing that. So that can be a great thing, or, it can not. I think it'll be a great thing. I think enough people don't actually know Giselle that we can make it our own.
I was actually surprised. I mean, I'll take that back. I wasn't that surprised because I myself was not familiar with Giselle when I was first suggested to me. I was like, what? And that's the thing. I've heard this over and over again. Other people have said, oh yeah, we're rehearsing for Giselle. Other performers have come up to me, and their friends' reactions are, "Oh, cool! You're doing an original piece. Wow, that sounds really great." So even though it is a classical ballet, I think that it's kind of unfortunately it's true. It's like not a lot of people know it.
Well, I mean,
you might have heard the song, but
it might also be that just in general, not a lot of people know classical ballet.
There
could be that.
No.
Too.
In LA, especially.
Yeah.
No. If you were in Russia and you were to say Giselle, people would be like, oh yeah, of course we know Giselle. If you come to LA.
We were in Russia. We were in Germany.
Yeah.
Even maybe if we were in New York. Maybe.
But the folks that we've run into were like, Giselle? What? No, that sounds cool. Like they're not really that familiar with
the TV agent.
The TV agent, they don't really know.
Well, and the same thing as Little Prince. They were like, oh, Netflix. Yeah, we saw it on Netflix. I'm like, this is based on the book, Little Prince, right? Le Petit.
Right. Yeah, same kind of thing.
I'm like, oh my goodness. But I cannot. I don't, and I also have to catch myself because you cannot. It's kind of like you don't want to insult people by saying, well, don't you know Giselle? Don't you know this? No, but you don't have to know, classical music or classical ballet. But like you said, you probably have heard it, and so we're not gonna do that anymore. I'm gonna do that. I just thought, like, what? You haven't heard of it? Oh my God, you're so behind the times. But we couldn't be doing that because we want to educate people as well. Mm-hmm.
How are you doing with the fact that you're producing this one?
Actually, I like. I'm like, well, what's the right answer? No, the honest answer is this. I was directing both shows, but this time around, I wanted to take a back seat, and actually, it's a lot less pressure. And like when you step outside the role that I was given before, so I step outside the role that I was given, and I can actually see things more clearly. And I'm kind of directing as well because Irina needs help, and sometimes she's asking me for my opinion. And I also have to catch myself not being the director because I'm very bossy. As you probably know, and anyway, and so I have to catch myself before I do that, and so I'm like, okay, you know what, this is not my role. I need to. In last rehearsal, I was just upstairs, just watching them, and I'm like, you know what, just be quiet, just observe, and it's been great. And I'm doing a lot of stuff in the in the background, and so it's a different role, and I actually don't mind it. As long as I'm involved in any kind of way, I can just take tickets and that'll be fine too. But I am involved, and I like this role as well.
Nice, good.
That's good.
I mean, it's nice not to be juggling 18 different hats. You know what I mean? Like, that's hard to do. So, it's good that you're doing that, and you can maybe enjoy it a little bit more. Is she directing and in it as well, or?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's how it.
Well, there you go. Thank
Yeah.
goodness you're producing.
Yeah, that's a lot. Always.
Right.
Yeah, it is a
It
lot.
is
Yeah.
a lot.
You need a really strong producer
Yeah,
have that
to
make that
take
work.
away all that. Yeah, exactly.
Once in a while, I have to find that hat. Where's that hat? Oh, yeah, I have it right here. Hold on. Let me be the director for a second. But no, I mean, our community of Hollywood Fringe is so, we're so diverse, and we tap into anything. We can be producers, we can be designers, we can be promoters, actors. Sometimes, you know, there's last minute thing, and oh my God, I have to do this. Okay, let me get on stage and do it. So, you know, the Fringe is just freedom, and you can just, I mean, it's chaotic sometimes. So I think that's the fun of that. That's the fun of being at the Fringe Festival. So what did you guys learn from last year that you don't plan on doing this year?
What did we learn from last year that we're going to do different? Well, we, you know, one of the things is we started our rehearsals much earlier.
Yeah, we started this, like, we started this, working on this almost like at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
You know, because we knew that it was, and it's very different in that we have a larger cast. And so we knew that, especially not like having like a set script per se. Do you know what I mean? Like last year we had a script. This we're working on. We're not working with the same kind of thing. It's different. So you know we're doing that differently in that we're putting a lot more rehearsal time.
Yeah.
And actually doing it in a real theater space. I think that's something that we learned the hard way.
I mean, I think that for me, I've learned like more time is better. So even with the actors that were in our piece last time, everybody wants more time, more rehearsal time this time, and you know, more time for me to deal with graphics and more time with me to deal with finances and just more time in general.
Yeah, we got on. Yeah, we realized.
So we're not so crazed, you know. And also it was really important that for the other big things we had going on in the studio, that I kind of gave a little bit more pad in between Fringe. So it wasn't like we're doing Fringe and we've got a showcase and we've got a this, you know, try to separate that out a little. And just, you know, I need to go to more office hours.
I'll be there.
And I think I think one of the big things, I think the most important thing that we realized is Fringe is amazing and it's fun and you get to meet a lot of people and see a lot of great pieces. But there's a lot going on during Fringe. And so when we decided to do Giselle, we realized there was going to be a lot going on with this piece. So we enlisted in more help. Yeah. So we didn't have just one choreographer. We have two. Actually, we have like 2.5. But you know what I mean? Like, so just have more help.
More hands.
More hands.
More input, more hands.
Like, if you're a type A person, maybe like you and I, Victor, you want to do everything because you think you know best and you can do it best and you think you have the capacity. but you know.
I learned about humility. I had to be very humble, and that Russian trip was so humbling. You have no idea. And I've learned a few things since we last spoke. Let's put it that way. And no, it's actually everything's a learning experience. So I'm just taking it as it is. Like, you know what? That was a lesson in humility, a lesson in listening, a lesson in being humble and being quiet when you have to be, and sometimes you have to speak up. So that's what I learned.
Exactly. We learned that you've got to get the best people you can and then trust them. Put your trust in them. You know, you find, you work with people that you like and you trust, and you should be using them for a reason because you like their work, you like their style, you like their, you know, attitude, whatever. And then you have to, and yes, you have to oversee and steer the boat, but you have to trust that they can actually get to the destination.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, and I mean, this advice was given to me a long, long time ago. You can't do a production by yourself.
Yeah.
You can't, you know. I mean,
No.
as much as perhaps you're a type A personality, you want control over everything, you're going to wind up just frustrating yourself. So in the end, it's best to assemble a great team and put your trust into them.
Yep.
You know?
That's, you know what? That's a great way to end this because we only have a minute left. Guys, it's been so great to talk to you. I missed you guys since last year. We're gonna talk to each other at the hopefully you go to the office hours. But anything else you want to say to the cast, to the people that are gonna see your show? Last 1 minute that we have left.
I mean, just really that, yeah, you kind of touched on it. We're a one weekend wonder, so you've got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Please,
yeah,
get your tickets early and come see it. We got lots of seats.
Yeah, we'll have lots of seats.
Yeah,
so.
there's plenty of room this time for everybody.
Yeah, June 21st, June 22nd, June 23rd. Those are the dates, and then the where's the place at again? Assistance League Theater, which is in 1367 North St. Petersburg. Sorry, 1367 North St. Andrew's Place, Hollywood.
Right next to the
And
Home
you're
Depot.
gonna see a link next to the Home Depot. That's the best. Yeah, great. Thank you guys. We're gonna wrap it up because we only have a minute, and I want to play the last piece before we go, and I'll see you guys soon, and I'll be there to see Giselle.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
That was it, guys. This is the interview that I had with Al and Leah, or Leah and Al. I don't know how they go by. So yeah, Cirque Du Giselle sounds amazing, right? And yeah, I can attest to that. They had a great show last year, so come see their show. Come see every show that you can. Local artists will love you forever, and especially if you're a critic or you have a blog like me, they already love me. They love me. They really, really love me. And if you love me too, you can like my page, guys. Like my Facebook page. Why not? It's only one click. Talk to you soon, guys.
Well, I didn't see that coming.